Okay, so this is part two of four videos that you could use to prepare yourself for the mock exam, which is coming up. Okay, so in this part two, I'm going to show you what sort of things you need to revise and what things you need to go over. And so we're going to work through that. There's a few videos in here, but I won't play them, but you can see what they look like. Um, and what to search for on YouTube to be able to watch those videos. Okay, so let's progress. Okay, so question 1D will ask you will carry on the theme of paper and card, and it will ask you how different methods for finishing off processes for finishing off the surface of paper. Okay, or adding some kind of print to the surface to decorate it or to embellish it. So, screen printing, for example, is the first one, um, and that involves a process where they use a stencil, as you can see. That's the stencil as a screen, with certain parts cut out to let the ink through, other parts are masked off to stop it from coming through, and you can use the same process on t-shirts as well, but you can also use it on paper. So you can use screen printing, which is a process that uses a stencil and fine net to print onto fabric or paper. Flexography uses separated colors to print onto carrier bags. It's very similar to the process called lithography that we use to produce mass print like newspapers, glossy magazines, and so on. You name it, it can be used for that in terms of printing. So flexography is used to print onto plastic film or carrier bags. It can also be used to print product labels as well, which have a plastic film or coating and so on. Sublimation printing involves printing onto special sublimation paper and then using heat to transfer the pattern onto the surface. The surface could be fabric or could even be some type of porcelain. It can be transferred onto other types of foamy surfaces, fabric, you name it, but use a heat process to do that. And it can also be applied to paper as well as a finishing technique. Laminating is a technique where you place the paper between two halves of see-through plastic, which has um, adhesive on either side. Heat is then applied to it through a laminator, which then sets the plastic to protect the paper inside. Okay. And then the other process is embossing, uses like an embossing machine where literally like a stamp, it pushes out the card and creates like a raised surface, as you can see here. So embossing is a decorative surface finish applied to paper and card. And then block printing is quite an old process where you carve out the image that you want, okay, and then you can then dip it into ink, and then you can produce a repeating pattern on the paper, as in the case here. So it's a repeating natural like a flower pattern onto the surface. It can also be used to print onto um, fabrics as well. So that's block printing. So that would be question 1D. Question 2A is all about product evolution. If you see this word evolution, okay, always remember it means a change in time. A change over time probably is the best way to say it actually. A change of time, evolution. So that means products changing over time. That's what this phrase actually means. Okay, and a perfect example would be mobile phones. So over the years, mobile phones have evolved from just being able to be used to make phone calls to being able to use text messages, SMS, and so on, you name it, to now being able to surf the internet, download PDF files, use Word on the go, access Google accounts, use Google Documents to change a document to store information, use as a camera phone as well. So mobile phones have evolved over time because um, consumers also expect them to be able to do more than one thing. So let's have a look at the reasons as to why product evolution occurs. So one of the reasons manufacturers make more money, they make profit by changing their products and adding more features by evolving their product. They then are able to maintain their market base and maybe even increase it sometimes. Okay, meet new standards. So new standards come out all the time. So there might be an accident. The government legislation then proclaims that new product has to have these standards. So for example, new cars coming onto the market will have new safety standards. For example, emissions. For example, diesel cars in the future will have to have very tight emissions to be able to meet the requirements of governments around the world. Market pull. This is where consumers want new, better products, and they have needs, new needs, fashion, social attitudes. So, for example, now a mobile phone now is a need as opposed to just a want in most people's lives in the UK because it's essential for modern day living. Okay. Technological push. That's another reason why products evolve over time. So remember, product evolution means change over time. So technological push where manufacturers use new technologies, new making techniques, okay, and then environmental issues such as consumers are more aware of green issues, so they want products which are environmentally friendly, i.e. the new cars that are coming onto the market, hybrid cars and so on, are also not only driven by technology, but they're driven by the need of consumers to want to be environmentally friendly, to make a change to the environment. Okay, and governments as well passing legislation that requires cars to be more efficient. Okay, and so here we can apply product evolution once again. So if you look over here, we have a situation where over time milk bottles have changed from being made from glass, okay, to now being made from thermoplastics. Sorry for my scribe. Yep. So thermoplastics now are used to make these milk bottles. Okay, so over time consumer attitudes have changed as well. Back in the day, milk bottles were delivered by a milkman to your door. Now people go to supermarkets, so social attitudes have changed. So people want to buy bigger bottles because they might want to have families. Also, it saves them time having to go all the time to the supermarket. So a bigger bottle means you can hold more in there. Also, pasteurization methods have improved. Ability to keep milk from spoiling has also improved as well. There's a wider range of different types of milk as well. People want to be able to use their milk and close it off and save it for later on. So all these factors have played a part. Both technological push and market pull have played a part to move the development and the evolution of the milk bottle, the milk container, onwards from just being made from glass, which comes from silica, which is sand, to being made from thermoplastics, which come from oil, and so on. And also nowadays, because people want to be more environmentally friendly, they now want refillable milk bottles. So you see the bags now have come into the fore. And then obviously there are certain advantages to each one, so you'll have to write the advantages down. Now, I'm not going to talk about carbon footprints and so on in so much detail, but if you type in carbon footprint or type in simple show explains a carbon footprint, or you download this PowerPoint presentation, you'll be able to play this if you have internet access. Okay, and this explains exactly what carbon footprint is. Carbon footprint, basically, it is the amount of carbon that's produced in the life of a product, from it being made to it being used and by a consumer, when and being transported from one place to the other. There's a more of a greater, like, better definition when you watch the video. So watch that. The next one is about fair trade. So this will explain to you what fair trade is if you watch the video. It will go into detail what fair trade is, what the benefits are to consumers, sorry, to suppliers and so on. The next one is about sustainability. I think you should learn about sustainability in 6 R's because you'll need that in the future anyway for your other exams. So you watch all these videos, type in this in YouTube, and you'll be able to see what it stands, what they mean. Okay, so that's end of part 2. Um, I'll make part 3 and part 4. Watch those as well, and you should be informed for the exam.